Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Halfway through March, it's time for the halftime report. How have I been getting on with my pens this month? So the pens this month have been stored in my Groku, my baby Yoda pen pouch that my wife made for me. And I think it's 11 pens in here, but I only use 6 at the moment. So the pens I've been using, all made by Australian makers. Really difficult month this. I'm really going to struggle to differentiate between the pens because they're all absolutely gorgeous. I love using them all. But how have I been getting on? Well, we'll start with the Justurn's Mimas. This Mimas material, it's one that he makes himself, so he pours the resin himself. And this one was called black copper, so it's primarily a very dark, I would say, black colour. But then it's popping out with this gorgeous coppery colours. It's very hard to actually capture this in person. It looks so beautiful. This is the Mimas model. Here we've got a Yoho nib. This is a medium nib. Let me see if I can get this into focus. Really nice nib. Handles the shimmer actually not too bad. That's when I can get the shimmer to show. So the ink in here is by Vandemon and it's called Twilight Mist. It's a nice purple ink and it's also got a bright purple shimmer. And what I found, and it's not just with this particular ink, I've got a couple of Vandemon shimmer inks and I struggle with them regardless really of the pens. In this, it's actually not been too bad. I have been getting some, but nowhere near as much as I'd like. So one of the things I always do when I'm using this is I'm constantly fidgeting with it and just trying to keep that ink moving inside. I have actually filled this up once since the start of the month, so it's still got fairly full there. So this will carry on after the month is finished. And hopefully we might get some more of that shimmer through. It's nice. Like all the pens, to be honest, it does feel quite light. It's a resin pen, so it's not unexpected. Nice section size there. Really enjoyable pen. Love the finish on this. This is a gloss finish. Looks really nice. And I say it writes really well. I've been really enjoying it. And the feedback as well on this medium nib. I love a little bit of feedback. And on here, it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's the Justurn's Mimas. The next pen is by Platypus Pens. And this is a 3D printed pen. This is the Model 10. It does a couple of different models. This has got a herringbone pattern. Again, I'm trying to hold it close there, so hopefully the camera can pick that up. Problem is getting it in focus. There we go. Oh, no, I keep dropping in and out of the focus point. Very nice. I love the texture of this when I'm writing it, the way it feels. It's not smooth. There's a real, I'm going to say roughness. It's not rough. It's the texture of the pattern. Feels very nice. In this, now I can't show you it because it's actually buried within the resin. It's actually put a little bit of weight on one side, so it helps it to stop rolling. Also gives the pen a little bit more weight as well because the 3D printed material would be very light. This is another Yoho nib. All the pens but one have got Yoho nibs on them. There we go. This one is a broad. Nice section length. Section width, again, not too bad. A little bit on the narrow side, but not enough to cause me an issue. And then take that off. Only got a little bit of ink in here. So chances are the next time I use this will be out of ink. And because we're past the half time point, I'm not going to be filling up any of the pens again. So as they run out, I'll just take them out of the rotation. Very nice. Say 3D printed. It's got loads of different colours. Does have that little bit extra weight. Does post. All the other pens don't really post. This one is the only one that does. It makes it feel back heavy to me, so I don't post it. I'm not sure, there might be a bit of a weight in there as well. But yeah, it's a nice, really nice writer. The texture, I said, I've really loved that. Just look at my notes. Feedback, again, got a real nice feedback to it. So that's a Platypus Model 10. Up next, we're going back to Justurn's. He's looking down to get the right one. This is Justurn's. This is the Enceladus model. Very, very similar to the previous one, the Mimas. Let me just put them side by side. Couple of tiny differences. So on the Enceladus, looks like the cap is longer, but in total terms of length, the pens are about the same. The material this is made from is by Brooks Blank, so that's the Carolina pen company, and it's called Golden Blue Jay. Again, I'm going to hold this, try and get it into the focus point so you can see this. Just look at them beautiful, gorgeous colours. Absolutely stunning. I really do like this. These colours, they just pop in the daylight. Again, very hard to show under my studio lights, but beautiful to look at. As I said, we've got a Yoho nib on here. This one is a broad nib. And in here, there we go, there's a converter. This is on the second fill of ink. The first time I filled it, I put in Robert Oster Terracotta. I've since changed the ink, and I've got in there now another Vandemon Inc. So like that first one, it's a shimmer ink, a Vandemon shimmer ink. It's called Twilight Mist. No, it's not. It's called Azure Kingfisher. It's called Azure Kingfisher. It's like a gorgeous blue, and then there's a pop when you can get it of a gold shimmer. Again, the problem is getting that shimmer to actually show through. What I find is after I've been agitating it, the first maybe half a sentence, I'll get quite a bit of shimmer coming out, but then the shimmer just vanishes and we go back to the blue, which is a bit of a nuisance. I'd like to see more of the shimmer, but the blue's really nice as well, so I'm not overly concerned. Again, beautiful looking pen. I've said that, I'm going to say that for every single one. The terracotta ink that I had in there first, I'm not sure it was the right ink for this pen. Wrote really well. It's just the colour just didn't seem right to me. And that's why I thought I'd go for the Golden Blue Jay. Nice line. Again, nice feedback. As I've already said, going to be very, very difficult to pick this month. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. Would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Next, we're going to go for another different maker. This is called ThatPenBloke, and it's called the Fountain Pen. And this material is, it was called something special. When I saw the picture, he said it was a material he poured himself. He was experimenting with resins. I just think this is, I know I've got to say it again, it's such a beautiful pen. Just behold this beauty. There we go. Just trying to turn that around so you can see it. A couple of people have asked if this is wood. It's not, it's resin, but does look quite a lot like wood. It is the longest pen of the month, still fairly light, and also does feel to me a little bit wider. Got a nice long section on this, and it's concave. The section, very nice, very comfortable. My fingers fit there quite nicely. I hold my pens down near the bottom of the section. Another one with a broad Yoho nib. So all the nibs have all got different finishes on them. So this one is that steel coloured finish. All the nibs this month, they're all steel nibs as well. Opening this up, nearly out of ink. So it's another one. I'll use it, and chances are the next time I use it, I'll run out of ink and I'm not going to refill. Now, at the start of the month, when I was showing it in my thing, there was some powder came out of this, out of the body. Hadn't had an issue since then. So I'm actually putting that down to a Gary error. I don't treat my pens like they're something precious. They are tools to be used. So they sit on my desk, they get moved around, they get bounced around. Especially these where there's no roll stop, they occasionally roll onto the floor. Now I do have a mat, so it doesn't go straight onto tile, but it still does fall down. So it could be that the pen had dropped, and maybe what I'm guessing is that the converter has hit the side, which is what's caused a little bit of that powder. Not had an issue since. But I say it's a tool. It's not something precious. That's the whole idea of a pen, isn't it? Is to use it, not to sit there staring at it. If you're going to sit there staring at it, you might as well buy one of these fancy antique things. Yeah, it's a tool to use. I love using it. I love the look of it. Same with all my pens. Nice section size. The ink, that's the first full of ink, so the ink has really, really lasted. Again, nice feedback. I'm really struggling to differentiate between the pens, I've got to be honest. So that's that fountain pen bloke. So the 5th pen of the month. This is another Justurn's. I've got 3 Justurn's pens. This one is the Enceladus. Again, same as the second Justurn's pen I brought out. Let me just fetch the one out. Let's just have a look at these two together. There we go. This one is made from Elvenwood, which is another Jonathan Brooks material. It's not a wood, it's a resin, even though it's called Elvenwood. It's designed to look like wood, and it does. Just look at this. Beautiful, gorgeous material. Again, I know I keep saying it, the camera does not do this justice. This is in a matte finish. All the rest of the pens are gloss finishes, well, apart from the Platypus, which is that 3D printed. But this one, when I was talking with Stephen Just, who's the guy who makes them, he said he thinks that this material looks better in a matte, so went with that. So glad I did. The nib on this is a different nib. This is a Cypress nib, or Mr. Cypress. Again, it's steel. Let me get this into there. So hopefully we get some sort of focus on it. 2-tone nib. It's a broad nib. I find this writes a finer line than I see with the Yoho broad nibs. I believe it's the Cypress is a Korean company, so I think they use like the Asian style broad, which is narrower anyway. So that's why that is. Again, we've got converter in here. There we go. Another one. I've actually filled this up and I've got about 1/4 of a converter. So I think this will be used by the end of the month as well. I started the month with a Vandemon Inc, which was Deciduous Beech. That's like an orange colour. No shimmer in it, unlike the previous Vandemon one. But what I found is, I don't know, it didn't seem to work for me. I thought I put orange in and I thought the name of the, Deciduous Beech, Elvenwood, but it was worth an experiment. What I might try when I next ink this up, I might try Dieman Blaze Orange, which I think is a much stronger orange colour. And I think that might look better, but I've got to experiment with it. So when I refilled it with Robert Oster Aussie Brown. Again, part of this month's theme, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. So it's Australian pens, also the inks and by Australian manufacturers. I really like this Aussie Brown. It's an ink I don't use often enough. Loads of shading coming through. Beautiful brown colour. Very much does remind me of, the colours you see as you go around Australia. The matte finish really does, it feels so nice. It's not as, obviously not as glossy. And I'm not going to say there's a texture, there's not, but it feels a little bit textured to me. Really nice. And that Mr. Cypress nib, again, I'm still getting used to it because it's still fairly new to me. Not as broad, but I do think it also feels a little bit stiffer, and there's also a bit more on the feedback side, which again I like. So yeah, really nice. Really another beautiful, gorgeous writer. My final pen. This is the Pens by Casey Pen. This is the Mokuzai 13, and this one is a wooden pen. It's made from Northern York burl, which is native here to Western Australia. Actually, they start growing, their range starts growing about half an hour from where I live. So although obviously not the tree that this came from, but I have seen some Northern York burl trees or eucalyptus trees, which is what they also are. Very nice, very pretty, loads of texture in there. Got a gloss finish on this. I say most of my pens, I do have gloss finishes, I like them. The section is made by Ebonite. Inside the cap, I know it's hard to show, and inside the body, that's all lined with Ebonite. So it really has paid attention to detail. Another one, about 1/4 of the converter left of ink. I'm going to guess next time I use this, I'll finish this off. Really comfortable pen. Nice section size. I believe he does a Mokuzai 14, which is, from memory, slightly wider section. So I think if I get another one of these, I might go for a slightly wider section. But that's just personal choice. I know I keep saying this. Oh, it's such a nice pen. I just want to keep looking at it. It's so nice. 1.1 stub nib. Yoho nib. Do occasionally get an issue where I get a little hard start. I found that as the month has gone on, that stopped happening. So it could be that I'm getting more used to holding the pen. Might be there's a little bit of a sweet spot on there, but certainly last couple of uses, I've noticed I've not had any issues with it hard starting. The Robert Oster Caffe Crema in here, oh, beautiful. Goes well with this pen. Again, loads of nice shading coming through. So they are the pens that I started the month with. They're the pens I'm going to end the month with. Been very interesting. As I say, this month, I don't know how I'm going to pick between them because they're all so nice. And I'm really struggling to try and differentiate to come up with rankings. Now I know I'm going to have to do that. So for the next week or so, I'm going to be really thinking hard to come up with some rankings for these pens. I'm just not sure. I did jokingly say to someone I may end up just putting them all into a hat and then drawing them out, and the order they come out in is the order that they will be ranked at. So I don't know that. I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. But that's something for me to look at. Anyway, that's how we've been going. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. What are the pens you're using this month? How are you getting on with them? Why not drop a comment down below? Let's kickstart the conversation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.